Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Vanilla Minecraft, and before we get started on the main project that I want to tackle today, I need to head out for a bit of a resource gathering mission in the Nether. Specifically, the project that we're going to be doing requires just a little bit of magma blocks, and somehow I have yet to actually use magma blocks in any build here on the server. So, well, I don't have any. So I'm going to head out. I needed to get a little ways away from my portal, unfortunately, because that's surrounded by very old terrain generation that doesn't have any magma blocks in it. So I'm going a little ways out, probably to one of my further out portals, like my Ice Spike Plains or something. And then I'm going to dig down into the Nether, get some magma blocks, maybe do a little other resource gathering, just because it's been a while since I've done a good Nether run. And then I'm going to get back to the island, and we'll start on our proper project. Okay, so I have had a reasonably successful trip through the Nether, as you can tell by my pick's durability. I ended up getting a full shulker box of magma blocks, plus 6 or 7 more stacks, a full shulker box of quartz, plus 2 more stacks, a full shulker box of soul sand, half a shulker box of glowstone, and some random stuff from a fortress, including a wither skull, surprisingly, considering I don't have looting on the sword that I'm using. But I was heading back to the rail, intending to head back to the island, and I decided to stop in this one last fortress. And this fortress is actually very, very close to the rail that I came out of initially. It's probably less than 100 blocks away from my main rail. And at first I didn't think much of that, because it's not the closest fortress to my base. If I want to do something with a fortress, like, a wither skeleton farm or a blaze farm, I have closer fortresses. So I wasn't too interested until I was walking through it just randomly, and I discovered this. So over here, we have a blaze spawner, which is all well and good. And then we walk down here, and there's another one. They are, perfectly aligned. I mean, you really could not ask for a better dual blaze spawner setup. The only way that this could ever possibly generate better than this is if it generated, right here, for example. So, this is kind of amazing, and I think that we're kind of obligated to do something with this, right? We're going to have to do a dual blaze farm at some point in this spot. It's just too perfect not to. On top of that, it's also right next to this massive lava lake, and what that translates to is a lack of spawnable spaces. So I think we may also want to build a wither skeleton farm here, because that would mean that it's relatively easy. We at least have 20%, maybe 25% of the work done for us by having this huge chunk just be a lava lake. It means that we don't need to mob-proof the area near as much to get decent rates out of a wither skeleton farm. So that is something that we're probably going to be doing in the future. And that's something I really planned on, and I should probably fix the dual blaze spawner at spawn first. But it is definitely something that we're going to be doing now that I discovered this, and it's just so close to my rail. So I thought I would share that with you guys. But now, back to the original plan, we're going to get back to the island and start on something new over there. So we're underneath the Mushroom Island biome right now, or rather underneath the coastline of it. If we take a look at our F3 screen, you'll see we're under the Mushroom Island shore biome, which means we're under the ocean around my island. And I've dug out a little bit of a tunnel, taking us to a very specific set of coordinates. And at those coordinates is a slime chunk. So obviously we're going to be doing a slime farm today. Now, I did use a slime chunk finder to find this spot, which I know is a little bit cheaty, but in order to find a perfect spot, especially around my islands, because keep in mind that slimes will not spawn under my island, even if it's a slime chunk. So I needed to go out and find a spot that wasn't under the Mushroom Island or Mushroom Island shore biomes in order to do this. And in order to find a perfect spot would have been really, really tricky. So a little cheaty, but I did find a really good spot. So if we go ahead and push F3 and G, this shows our chunk borders. And if you've never seen this before, basically you push that and you can see this kind of grid. This means that this chunk that I'm in, which right now I'm in the very corner of it, this is to indicate that, right? So over here, you can see we're in a bit of a corner. Diagonally from this is a slime chunk. And then right next to that is another one. It's actually a dual slime chunk that we can use very, very easily. In fact, there's even more slime chunks in the area. There's 2 more that are connected just 1 chunk over. So if we ever wanted to increase the efficiency of this thing, it would be pretty easy. But I don't think we're going to probably worry about it. I'm sure this will be fine as it is. So the first step of this process, I'm going to need to hollow out a relatively large area because we want to take advantage of as many floors as we can. So I need to hollow out each chunk and then a little bit more beyond that and take that all the way up to Y40 or so. And we want to try and cram as many floors in there as we possibly can. So step number 1, I need to clear some space out and then I'll get to building. Well, here we go. Well, that was lame. That did not work at all. No. Yeah, that didn't work at all. It only took out 1 column. Boo. Okay, guess I'm doing this the manual way. Oh, no, 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 no. Nope. Nope. Whew. Well, this isn't how I intended to clear out the TNT, but it certainly is a little bit more exciting. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, oh, no. Please, skeletons, no. Please, skeletons, no. Don't do it. Okay, so obviously I've gone through all of the TNT. Things are still a bit of a mess, unfortunately. I was really hoping it was going to do a better job of that, but I guess I put the TNT a little too far apart to the point where they didn't even explode each other, really. So that kind of sucks, but it's fine. I'll have to come through here, probably with more TNT, naturally, because that is the solution to all things, and clean all of this up, and then I need to turn this room into more of like a perfect rectangle, because we don't want it to be all crazy, messy, cave-like. These zombies, man. And skeletons, apparently. Anyway, I'm going to go and clean up everything and get to work on building... You jerk! No, I'm not going to build a jerk. Get to work on building our slime farm. This is really dangerous. I'm going to go and get to work on building our slime farm, and I'll get back to you guys once we have some decent progress going. So our slime farm is complete. Looks like we just killed one. At least the technical back end of it is. And I'm pretty sure that it's working fairly well. I've seen quite a few slimes jumping down and doing their thing. And it should be relatively efficient as well. So we have our big spawn platform in the middle. This is pretty much the same as they have been since slime farms have been a thing, I think. I don't think we can make them any more compact. We have a 2.5 block gap between floors, which I believe is the minimum that the largest slimes can spawn in. So I don't think we could pack any more floors in. I am killing them down on magma blocks. I think that that's probably the quickest way we can go. Like, back in the day, what we used to do is drop them into water streams and then push them into cactus, and that works relatively well, but going this route, they're going to take at least as much damage, if not more. They're also going to take fall damage, whereas before they wouldn't if we would drop them into a water stream, and we can pick up all of the drops via hopper minecarts underneath, rather than losing some of the drops onto cactus. So I think that this route is probably the best way to go, at least the best way that I could think of. Be sure to tell me if there's a better way that I can switch this out to. And I also added in these golems. I'm pretty sure that this is a well-known thing by now, but ever since Minecraft 1.8, most types of hostile mobs, pretty much everything except ghasts and creepers, I think, will automatically target iron golems and go after them. And that means that the slimes will spawn, and they'll instantly charge off the edge to get to these guys and go down to their death. So that should increase the rates quite a lot versus letting them just kind of wander off on their own. So all of that combined, I assume that this farm should be fairly quick. Not that I really needed it to be, but let's take a look. I haven't left this running too long. I basically finished things up, put the carts down, and went to grab something to eat. And, wow, almost a double chest, or half of a double chest, rather, of slime balls. That's not bad. Certainly more than I'm going to need. I can just AFK here for a night and have enough slime to last me a lifetime. But yeah, so this is going to be our back-end kind of technical aspect of our slime farm. Does look like a couple slime balls are being left behind, which I did think was going to be the case. All I need to do is expand our rail to go one more line. Oh, wait. Those actually get picked up? I'm surprised. I had assumed... Will those get picked up? I assume that those won't. Granted, I thought the same about the other ones. If those get picked up, it's fine. Otherwise, I can just add one more rail underneath and we'll be good to go. But other than that, I think the technical aspect is fine. Now, it is kind of ugly, as I was saying, and that's kind of a bummer. When I first decided to do a slime farm, which I decided to do because I kind of want to start getting all of the resources around my base area. That way I don't need to go all the way back to spawn and try and look for different things over there. Like, I didn't have a slime farm over here before. I had to go all the way to spawn if I wanted slime, which is kind of lame. So eventually we're going to try and do that. We're going to get blaze farms and the slime farm and gold farms and everything over in our general neck of the woods. So hopefully we'll be taking care of that over the next, well, I shouldn't say over the next few episodes. It's going to be a long process. But when I first decided to do that, my original idea was to make something a little bit better looking than this. My original plan was to make something that looked more like a natural cave and kind of sneak a slime farm into it. The issue that I ran into is that there was no good way to kill the slimes and still make the cave look good, or at least look the way that I wanted it to. I wanted it to look like kind of a slimy, gross cave, right? Unfortunately, there's just no real way to do that. I could kill the slimes on top of magma blocks and have like lime carpet on top. That would have worked just fine, but then I wouldn't have been able to pick up the drops because the drops would have been like just too high for a hopper minecart to get them. So that's unfortunate, but what we're going to do instead is have our back end there, which will be a really super duper efficient slime farm, right? Or I shouldn't say super duper efficient, but reasonably efficient slime farm. And then up here, we're going to have kind of a front end to it. We're going to try and make that slimy cave that I wanted to. And that's going to double as kind of a storage room. I don't know how I'm going to disguise that yet, because obviously I just don't want chests hanging out in here. But we're probably going to renovate this cave area in some form or another. And I'm going to try and make it all gross and gooey looking and stuff like that. And then I'll hide some chests somewhere. And this will be where we come to both AFK for our slime farm, as well as pick up the drops from it. So I think that that's a nice compromise, a nice kind of in-between for what I really wanted versus what I have to do. And, well, let's go and make a gooey cave, shall we? So here is our slime cave so far, and I think it's okay looking. I do still think that it's missing something, and I'm not quite sure what that something is. I've sat here and looked at it for a little bit, and I just can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's that we need like another block type mixed in to try and break things up a little bit more, or maybe it's just the shape of the cave itself. I think maybe if the cave was a few blocks taller and we had more space to droop the slime down and stuff like that, I think that might help a bit. But it's hard to say. I'll probably experiment with stuff like that off camera at some point, but for right now, I think the cave itself is looking okay. Of course, we also have our buddy Slimey over here, who is aptly named because I'm very creative. As usual, if you guys have a better name for this guy, be sure to let me know. But for right now, I think that'll do. I did also have two other little guys up here that would kind of, hop around freely, and that was really adorable, and I loved having them up here. But they also almost instantly killed themselves in the water. So I don't know that that's going to work too well to try and have little slimes in here. I may try one more time, but if the first two are any indication, well, it's just not going to go very well. So in general, our cave is looking pretty good. There is one major detail that I kind of overlooked, though. Somehow, I built this entire room, and I got all excited about trying to get slimes in here and all of that, and I kind of forgot the entire purpose that this room is for, which is a storage room, as you may recall. Completely forgot. No idea how. I literally went to record and show you guys everything, and as I was starting to record, I realized that I had completely forgotten the most important part of the entire build. So, for the time being, just temporarily, I've thrown this in here. So, this is where all the slime balls get collected to from our farm. They flow down the waterfall, like so. There you go. And just down into those chests. Now, obviously, this is nowhere near enough storage. We're already over half a double chest, and I suspect I actually lost a lot of slime balls while I was working on this. I think there may be a gap somewhere along the item elevator that the slime balls are traveling up that they're getting stuck in. I'm going to have to look into it, but we definitely lost quite a few. But I'm not going to worry about it too much for right now, at least until I fix the storage room. I'm definitely going to have to come back and do that. It'll probably be down under the water like that, but it needs to be bigger, and it hopefully will look a little bit better. So, with that, I think that for the time being, our slime cave is done. There is one other thing that we're going to need to worry about in the future, though, and that is the entrance. Obviously, this isn't very grand. And the reason for that is that I currently don't know how our slime farm is actually going to connect to the rest of the island. So currently, we have this little tunnel that I dug out, and this leads back to a particular cave system that's underneath part of my island. And I want to do something with that specific cave system, and until I do that, I can't really link the slime farm up, because I kind of want them to be joined together. I want the slime farm to be kind of an offshoot of this. So here's the cave I was talking about. This is natural generation. We have this huge open area, which is really, really cool, and it's also right under my island. Like, this is the very corner of my island, right here, basically. And this is really cool. I've always wanted to do something with this since I very first found it, but I'm kind of on the fence about what. But whatever it ends up being, once we do something here, we'll work our way over through the cave systems and make a good way to connect to our slime farm. And then it'll be kind of joined properly with the rest of our island, and we can work out all the details and aesthetics and stuff like that. But before we do that, we do need to figure out something for this. My initial idea was to build kind of a housing area for the ancient people that used to live on the islands. Like, build houses into the sides of the walls and stuff like that. And that would be really, really cool. But, especially with, like, bridges and stuff going on. But this area is nowhere near big enough to pull that off on the scale that I would want to. So, I think we're going to reserve that for another place. And my second idea was to build kind of a mine down here. Like, this would be an area where those people came to mine certain resources. And I was actually thinking about letting them mine crystals of some kind. Though, again, I don't know that this is going to be enough space to pull that off in the way that it is kind of looks in my head. So, we'll see. Definitely want to do something with this, though. If you have any ideas, be sure to let me know. Do keep in mind, though, that we can't go far in this direction, like through the walls. Is this Silk Touch? Yeah. Because here is the mushroom cavern. So, yeah, that's kind of that's actually one of the main reasons I stopped trying to kind of come up with ideas for turning this place into a housing area, because we couldn't dig into these walls very much. So if you want to give me ideas, be sure to take that into account. We can't really go through that wall. Anyway, if you have any ideas for this, be sure to tell me. If you have any ideas for the slime cave, be sure to tell me. But until next time, I think we're going to call it here for today. So, I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed our goofy slime farm project and slime cavern and stuff like that. And, well, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.